I the only one who experienced an ouch moment? I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands, but probably not. Let me refresh from the three scriptures what you heard. First off, in Deuteronomy, now choose life so that you and your children may live, and that you may love the Lord your God. Choose life that you may love the Lord your God. Listen to his voice and hold fast to him. For the Lord is your life, and he will give you many years in the land he swore to give to your fathers. And then in 2 Corinthians, we heard this. So neither the one who plants nor the one who waters is anything, but only God who makes things grow. The one who plants and the one who waters have one purpose, and they will each be rewarded according to their own labor. For we are co-workers in God's service. You are God's field, God's building. And then what I just read, again, you have heard that it was said to the people long ago, do not break your oath, but fulfill to the Lord the vows you have made. That can sound like a bunch of rules. We've talked in the past a lot about grace, a lot about love, a lot about our fall and our need for grace. And that's a wonderful thing. Let me remind you what Wesley said about grace. He said there's a prevenient grace that goes before us, before we even know about it, that's out there to woo us and to welcome us into a relationship with Christ. Then there is justifying grace, which tries to make us right with Christ. And then finally, sanctifying grace, which makes us holy. I remind you of the story also of Punchinello. About 7 or 8 months ago, we talked about Punchinello, the little wooden doll that was created by Eli, the woodworker. And Punchinello had some problems. The woodworker, his creator, his master, didn't see those problems. But he did acknowledge that he had problems. So why do we have rules? When my oldest granddaughter, Cambria, when she was 3, 4, probably is the right age, she would want to spend time with us, but it would need to be on her terms. She'd say, Pop, they called me Pop because of that. She'd say, Pop, play with me. And I'd say, okay, what are we playing? We're playing Princess Warrior. I don't know, I don't remember what it was. Okay, how do we play? Well, you sit in the middle of the floor and I'll run around you and I'll put things on your head. Okay, what else do I need to do? I'll tell you when you need to know. It's like, okay, now what were my options here? To tell Cambria, was her name Cambria, I don't want to play unless I know what all the rules are in advance because I want to win this game. Yeah, I'm not going to win the game with my 4-year-old granddaughter. Why did I want to play the game with my 4-year-old granddaughter? Because I wanted to spend some time with her. And the longer I played her game by her rules, the more enjoyment she had, the more enjoyment I had, the greater the memory that we created together. My first winter here on the peninsula, I joined the Acadia Choral Society and I sang with them for their winter concert. And the first night I showed up, I had to audition, which was scary because I didn't know I was going to have to audition. Luckily, Jill and I had just worked on a number at church, and so that's what I used, and it worked. But the choral director gave me some rules. She said, you need to be here for every rehearsal. You need to be on time. You need to listen to the music that's recorded and uploaded up on the website. You need to practice at home. You need to be at all of the rehearsals. A lot of rules for just wanting to sing, huh? Why did we have so many rules about singing? Well, it was beautifully written music. It was that year, it was Bach. It was a Magnificat. Beautiful music, beautiful accompaniment, beautiful instruments, everybody working together to pull off this thing of beauty. Was it going to be as beautiful if some of us let it slide or didn't put in the effort? No, we had to have rules because what we wanted to create was something we could be proud of. I shared this a little bit earlier. I'll touch on it again when I'm talking to the kids. Why do our parents make rules for us? Why does your mother tell you when you're a teenager, be safe, wear your seatbelt, brush your teeth, call me if you're going to be late, don't drink and drive, tell me, I want to meet your friends, I want to know who your friends are? Why were there so many rules? We should never, and so I know this is sensitive, and some of us in this room have done this. We should never have to bury our children. Our children should outlive us. Our goal as happy, healthy parents is to be able to live a lifetime with our children. We want to spend as much time as possible with them. 2 days ago was the 4-month anniversary of my son-in-law's passing. Seems like an occasion that we mark frequently, and it's never fun to look back on what we've loved and lost. In marriage we have rules. You heard some of them here. Why when we go out on our first date, minus the pink cowboy hats, when we go out on our first date, why do we hold the door open, and why do we pull out the chair, and why do we say thank you, and why do we have manners, and why do we have all of these social rules that we need to abide by? Because we want the date to go well. We want to impress the person we're with. We want to be the beginning of a long and serious friendship. Brene Brown is a researcher that researches vulnerability and courage, and she recently did a TED Talk, it was on Netflix, I think, on belonging. There's a difference between belonging and fitting in. When you fit in, you change who you are for the people that you're trying to fit in with. When you belong no matter what. Whether you agree or disagree, whether you're exactly like them or not, if you belong. You all belong to this church family. You're here, nobody's trying to tell you to be a different person than who you are. When we're in a relationship, we want that relationship to be long. We want to have that relationship last. We want to have that relationship grow. The reason my granddaughter Cambria wanted me to play the game with her rules was so that she could spend time with me and we could enjoy something that in her mind was fun. The reason we had rules growing up is so that we could have a long relationship with the people that cared about us and enjoy that time spent together. So why does God have so many rules for us? Those were tough. Those were tough. None of us in here survived even for a few minutes without breaking some kind of rule, without sinning. In our heart, in our head, in our minds, in our thoughts, our words, our actions, we just can't quite do it. And God knows that. He knows that. But here's the thing. We talked about this last week. God created us in God's image. God created us to be exactly like God. God wants to have a relationship with us. God wants us to spend time together. God wants us to play warrior princess with him. God wants to spend that long time with us. And in order to have the best time possible, we have to play by God's rules. God wants us to be perfected. God wants us to be like him, like his authority, like his power, like his love. So yes, he's going to allow us to fail. He's going to continuously reach out to us with that prevenient, beckoning grace, saying, come on back. Try again. But he wants us to be like God. And so, yeah, it's tough, but every moment we need to be thinking, how can I be Christ-like? How can I be what God created me to be? Because when we have that, when we reach that level, spoiler alert, it's not going to happen. When we reach that level, God and we are going to be so much in tune. We're going to be playing the same game. We're going to be having so much fun. We're going to be in complete communion with each other. Because now we not only belong, but we fit in. God wants us to be like God. God wants us to know there are rules. There are things that we need to do to prepare us to be more like God. This is tough. We're not going to succeed. It's not going to happen. There's a great song by the Carpenters. You probably know it. Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be what? Close to you. God wants us to be close. God wants us to be so close that we think like God, we live like God, we love like God. When I was playing with the game with Cambria, she was having a blast. Me, not so much. My knees started to hurt, and I was tired of getting wigs put on me and boas and glitter thrown at me. But she was having a blast. And I wanted to be like her in her enjoyment. When my mother told me over and over again, be safe, wear your seatbelt, call us if you're going to be late, introduce us to your friends. Sometimes it was a drag, but you know what? I thank God now for every single breath she uttered that was a rule to me about being safe and being loved and coming back safely to home. In my marriage life, I'm very fortunate now. I have a wonderful wife, loves me and supports me, and I try to do everything I can to love and support her as well. And it's a challenge when it's not your original marriage, when things in the past have not worked out according to what you felt you could handle. It's tough. But I learned so much. And I'm a much better man because of my first wife, Kimberly, and Jill. I'm a better man because of that. God wants us to be close to him. God wants us to be like him. So yeah, there are rules. Too bad, so sad, build a bridge, get over it. There are rules. The minute you don't have rules, what happens in a marriage when the rules start to break? Do you get alienated? Do you drift apart? What happens when children don't follow parents' rules? They get into trouble with the law or whatever. This has happened here too. I'm not preaching to the choir, I'm preaching to me. It's tough. What happened when Adam and Eve disobeyed the one rule God had? One. Can you remember how they felt immediately? What did they do? Think about this. What did they do? They went into hiding. They went away from the person, from the deity, from the God that created them, that loved them, that they used to walk through the garden with and talk and sing. And this isn't recorded in the Bible, but I bet it happened. Having a wonderful time, and now, boom. I can't let God see me. This is too embarrassing. I don't feel close anymore. So, here's a human person up here saying this. Do your best. Remind each other, help each other, love each other through it. But do your best to grow in being like Christ. Because when you do, I will guarantee you this, I know this much. your relationship is going to be all the better for it. You're going to be more in love with God. You're going to be joyfully obedient because you're going to be happy. It's tough. God gives us a second chance so that we can claim the prize. One of the rules that Christ instituted right before he died was the Lord's Supper. He said, when you're gathered together, when you're thinking of me, when you're hearing my teachings, when you're hearing my words, when you're in communion with each other, do these things. Do these two things. Take the cup. Take the bread. Use them because I have blessed them and I have given them to you as a remembrance of who I am. He did the same thing with the wine. He blessed it, and he said, drink of this. All of you. That's everybody. This cup signifies the relationship that we have. Do this as you think of me. Nita, can you help me with the Lord's Supper this morning?